I'm going to have to adjust this. I'm a little bit of a shorty. My name is Pepper Hernandez. I look around and I see so many familiar faces, so many new people that I get to meet and be part of your journey if you choose. So that was such an introduction. You know everything about me now. I feel like I don't even need to explain who I am or what I'm doing here today. But what I am doing is I was asked to come to speak, jump to the chance, by the way, because I love you ladies, to come to speak about how cannabis is feminine and how that feminine energy is so mothering to us, to many of us. Actually, if you've ever even used cannabis in any way, shape, or form, you know how mothering she can be. And so we're going to talk about, very specifically, 3 different compartmentalizations. Because when they said, the plant as a mother, what a broad question, right? And so I spoke to, in the last couple weeks, I spoke to farmers, and I spoke to patients, and I spoke to clients, and they all gave me a different answer. So I've done my research. But for me to express what feminine plant is, we're going to start just at the basics. Because there's some people here, some of those people who may not have been farmers, but then there's some really, really amazing 4th-gen farmers here too. So I'm trying to encompass all of that. But for those people who know absolutely nothing about cannabis, the basics, the technicality is that cannabis is actually female, or at least what we covet, right? What we want to find, what we want to smoke, what we want to love, that portion of her is female. So it starts way back when a seed is popped. You go about 4-6 weeks, depending on cultivar, and it shifts. The plant, if you watch it, it expresses to you exactly what it is and what it wants to become, right? So it goes one of 2 ways. One, you can see these pollen sacs, and you know immediately that that is a male. That is the job of that male. And if you're a farmer, if you are a cultivator, if you are a steward of this plant, you will pull that aside, right? You will take that male aside. You'll give it its own life. It has its own life. It can, go on to create pollen. You can juice that thing. You can harvest it, make tea out of the roots. There's a lot of things you can do with it. A lot of people just toss them, and that's not necessarily needed. You could do something with them. Just get them far away from your female plants if you have another journey for the female plant. Now, the female plant has stigma. You see these little hairs, receptive, ready for that pollen. But at that stage, that 4 to 6 week, it's not receiving yet, but you know what that journey is. You know what her journey is. And so you can separate her, and you can cultivate her, and you can watch her, and you can see exactly what she needs. So what does she need? She needs water, she needs fresh air, she needs sun, and she needs organic plant material to help her become the best version of herself, right? That's how that works. Much like humans, honestly. I have a story to tell you in a moment that comes back around to that, by the way. That's the technicalities of cannabis. Now, once we've separated and we see that this is a female plant and she is going to flower into what all of us want, right? You don't have to be a grower to know what you want. You know that that flower is what you want. It's sticky, smelly, sweet. It's amazing. It draws you to it. You know exactly what you're going to do with that flower when you get that, right? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. Because there are 3 things, moving from the technicality more into the use. How does she want to be used? How do I use her? How do I inspire my clients and cannabis medical patients to use her? 3 different ways that I love so very much. First is the flower. Once she's ready, we dry her, we cure her, we look at her, tell her how much we love her, just like we would a child or a lover. And then we can dry her when she's ready. We can crumble her. We can put her in a little spliff, which is one of my favorite things to do. But we can smoke her in that way. Past that, there's all sorts of other options, and in being a cannabis therapy consultant, I highly suggest you to stay with sun-grown, organic, outdoor flower, period. Remember that through the rest of this conversation, so I don't have to keep pinpointing that back, okay? Once we've gotten to the point of smoking her as a flower and enjoying her, she can take us on many journeys, mentally, right? Emotionally. She is that mother. She shows you the things that you may have been avoiding. She makes you have the time. She asks you to take out the time to really be introspective, to really be one with her. And most of us do. If we're in love with it as much as possible, then you know what I'm talking about. And that alone is so healing. That right there alone is so healing. Just being able to be present with yourself and hearing your own inner dialogue and having her auto-correct you, that's pretty damn healing, if you ask me. So a second way that I utilize her is through applying her topically on my body. I do a old school crock pot method. Now, this isn't the best method. This is my method, and this is the one I like, and this is the one I use. There are a lot out there. But I do a crock pot method. It's 12 hours on, 12 hours off, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I put her plant material. I use the stems. I use the leaves. I use the flower. I use her all of her. And I put her in, depending on how I'm going to utilize that oil, I either do a jojoba oil, shea butter, and coconut combo for the skin. You can do all sorts of fun things, right? Or if I know that I'm going to possibly ingest her or I'm making her for a family member, then I will just use the coconut oil if their bodies accept coconut oil. So those are delivery agents to get them in. I recently came back to using a few drops of castor oil in my topical, and off the charts. And I'd kind of forgotten about doing it. But this is from my own personal, so I'm giving y'all some secrets. You probably already know them. But if you don't, if you're new to cannabis, here you go. The third way that I utilize cannabis is my all-time favorite, and this is what I speak around the world on, is juicing. Juicing and live plant matter. Okay? Don't have to get her all the way to flower if you're not a novice, right? You don't have to get her all the way there. You can just juice the leaves. Now, there's a little bit of a difference between the sugar leaves and the fan leaves and how to utilize them. Don't juice the sugar leaves, just eat those puppies. The big fan leaves, juice them if you have a lot of them. But you can also freeze the leaves. Freeze the leaves and put them right into your smoothies, just like you would be utilizing kale or spinach or any other plant matter. She loves that. She wants to get into your body in whatever way she can. That's what she tells me anyways. So, it's true story. True story. So, juicing, eating those leaves raw in a salad, you could do that. You can absolutely do that. And that's what I mean by non-psychoactive expert. When people hear that, they think, oh, she talks about CBD. Could be further from the truth. Don't isolate don't isolate a cannabinoid. In the cannabis plant, she's female, and the females actually produce more cannabinoids than the males. Go figure, right? She knows what she's doing. And so you can juice the males, you can utilize those, you can eat them, that's totally fine. Or if you're doing mass production, like hemp or something, put that in textiles. Put that in fabrics. Put that there. I love that idea. But as far as true medicinal medicine, from my perspective and my scope of over a 10-year, it's more than a decade-long experience in Humboldt County with cannabis, juicing female tops or their sugar leaves or the fan leaves and eating them raw is incredibly, incredibly valuable. And I thought about whether I'd share this or not, but I will. I had a cancer scare, about 8 years ago. No one knew about it. I didn't tell a soul for years because I didn't want anybody to think of me. You know, I didn't want anybody to send out bad vibes or sad vibes or uncomfortable vibes. I didn't need it because I was working. I had a job. I knew I was going to be okay. That was just a diagnosis. And instead of going with my colleagues, which were MDs and in the allopathic world, instead of going in that direction with what they said, which sounded just terrifying, by the way, every single cell in my body was vibrating no, I decided to go the juicing route. Now, I couldn't get altered. There was just no way possible because I was seeing so many people that I just couldn't. So what I did was I went out to my brother's farm out near Alder Point. Y'all know where that's at. And just got a whole bunch of leaves, froze them in ice cube trays. So I would have an ounce. If you look at the ice cube tray, that each of those are an ounce. I would have them an ounce a day. I added them to a type of non-dairy milk that I chose at the time. I think it was almond. I don't like almond now, but that was the thing 8 years ago. And I made what I called shamrock shakes. And it was gross. It's as gross as it sounds. But, you know, I'm actually, no, sorry, it's fine. It's amazing. Try it. Now I encourage people to add things, not just the ice cube and almond. I have a whole recipe book coming out with it, with different recipes that I've tried in my life. But anyhow, with that all being said, I no longer have any kind of issues like that, and I've helped people all over the world, and I'm so incredibly grateful for her. I have one small little story to share before I go because I think I need to wrap up my time. No, don't share, or no, don't. So I fly around a lot. This is my personal little story. I fly around a lot. I just flew in yesterday. I've been in Europe for 5 weeks, flying out in the morning. Things are going, and I'm loving educating people. And I was in the air, and I heard the pilot say, because I thought, I wonder how far up I am. I need to get clarity on what I'm going to say tomorrow. What do these people need me to share with them? And the pilot said, 32,000 feet. I was like, oh shit, that's really high. You know, that's pretty high. I'm pretty high. And immediately she came in. I wasn't altered. I hadn't consumed, but we just have that vibe together. And she came in and she said, cannabis and the way you treat it is exactly what we need to learn as feminine energy, right? You take a plant, and I've grown for a decade. You take a plant, you put it in sunlight with organic soil, perfect. You take it, you put it in artificial light with synthetic compounds, you see what that is, right? It's the same thing as women, people who identify as women, masculine energy. If you're a human, that was the message that she gave me to share with you. Is pay attention to the soil that you root yourself in. Pay attention to getting enough positive energy via the sun for her, but also love from us, right? And make sure you pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Not just the organic foods, because people can do that, but also the friends and the people you surround yourself and the mental self-talk that you do. So with that, that's what she taught me yesterday in the air. Thank you all so much. I will be around for a short period of time if you want to tune in or ask questions. But today, there is so much coming. I appreciate you all. Oh, okay, great. Does anyone have questions? Okay, I guess no questions. Yes, ma'am. Today, I have a lot of them, so every day is kind of a little different, just like a human, we're all changing. My favorite one today is a pretty big one. So it's banana, organic banana, 5 cannabis leaves. By the way, all you have to have is 5 cannabis leaves in your smoothie. That's it. It'll do the trick. 5 cannabis leaves. I put a little bit of lion's mane in it. I put hemp seed, organic hemp seed in it. And I put cacao powder, cacao nibs, and I mean, this is a big list. Pearl powder, that is my jam right now. I've been just crushing that one for a while. I love it. Thank you for asking. It reminds me of how much I love that one. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hernandez. You know, such a wonderful woman spirit that's honoring and respecting the plant and the medicine that you share with people. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Hernandez, when is your new book coming out and where can we look to purchase it at?
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Non-prompted. That was very sweet. I have 2 books currently that just came out on 4/20, and they are, yeah, that was meant to be. No, I pushed it for that. They are the cannabis patient journals for our, I mean, it was just the public just wanted them, and they're only for our school. They're for, our students. But because the public and all of the clients and all the patients wanted them, now they're available for the public. That juicing book is the one that you're talking about that I mentioned. That's going to be coming out at the end of the year. I've got a little secret tour that I'm doing that's going to be juicing, and that's going to just be a fun little book that I get to bring along. So I'll let you know, though. But yeah, follow me on social media platforms to find it. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you all. Oh, Patty. Yeah, can't miss Patty. Yeah. One more. Third time's a charm, right?
I just want you to, for the audience, because it's such an amazing platform and it's such a gift that you're giving to community, that maybe you could just tell us a little bit about how to follow you and the school on Clubhouse, because that has some amazing content and conversations taking place there, and I would love that people would be aware of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm putting out a lot of content all of the time, and it's completely compassion projects. So there's 2 podcasts. They're both out of Arcata, Humboldt County. You can find them. One's Quantum Alignment podcast, and the other is Humboldt Joint Discussions, where we just talk to farmers about the real deal. I love that one. That's so much fun to do. Both of you have been on them, I think. Yeah, you've been on it. And then we also do a Clubhouse, which is an interactive platform. I don't work for Clubhouse. I just love it and how it connects people. That is free to the public. You can get on. That's the Cannabis Holistic Institute on Clubhouse, or Dr. Pepper Hernandez over there. And then also through all other media platforms, it's Dr. Pepper Hernandez. My website is drpepperhernandez.com. And again, our school is the Cannabis Holistic Institute out of Humboldt County, which we love where we're at. So thank you all. I think that's it for the questions. Oh, no. Girl, you making me work today. She's like, no, I tried.
I know you keep trying.
No, you're so sweet. I love you.
So I love your message, and I totally resonate with, educating people to seek out sun-grown and, organic where possible, where that's a designation. But it can be really hard for people to find that kind of cannabis. So I'm wondering, how do you advise people, especially, folks who have, and people who live in places with less access?
It's a great question. I get it often, and it's very tricky to answer it. For my cannabis therapy patients, I typically connect them right with the farmer that I love and that I know that's doing the right thing. Honestly, I mean, that's just where it's at. And then what they want to do with that is what they want to do with that, as far as leaves, because leaves are legal. The other thing is our school is very much patient, pro, home, grow, forward. That is every message that we have for our school. We're not supported by anybody. We don't, backing up a little bit. We are very much focused on teaching people how to grow their own, even if it's just one plant outside and eating that thing without it even going to flower, right? If hemp is something that's all you have, at least utilize that, right? But just getting people to start thinking about it. But when people are really serious and they've come to me for one-on-one advice, I connect them. That's the easiest answer. I mean, that's the truth. But we always support people for finding those local, organic, sun-grown farmers in their area or becoming one. That's it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right.
Jeez Louise.
It's not time's up yet, Dr. P. It's not time's
Oh,
up
okay,
yet.
okay. I got a 30-minute mark over here, so I was rushing my stories.
Hello. Hi. I was
Hi.
wondering if there is any nutritional degradation if I took the sugar leaves and maybe put them in the freezer for when the fresh is not available.
No, that is exactly what I did. That is a great question. I don't know. Every plant's a little different. So your plant that you grew there and my plant that I grow, I don't know how that's going to break down. It depends on if you freeze them right away. But if you think about flash frozen bubble hash, right? That's amazing. By the way, I love supporting that. Tons of support for that. So it would be very similar to that. I don't think it would break down. If you were in the most privileged people on the planet, if you have that question, right? Eat it, freeze it, do whatever you have to do to make sure that that gets into your body, okay? The reason why I say don't juice the sugar leaves and the tops is because you can just eat that right away. You might lose a lot of that in the juicing process. The juicing is more for the fan leaves. And someone who's growing a large amount, picking those, they know how to leaf, right? We've all leafed if we've lived here for long enough. They know how to do it. You know why to do it. The plant tells you it needs a little more sun here, it needs a little more oxygen here, those kind of things, and a little more breeze. So it depends on that. But I just eat it. Yeah, that's what I did whenever I had the cancer scare. So I juiced all the fan leaves. I put them in ice cube trays. I froze them. And that ice cube tray was 1 ounce in each square. And then I had them throughout the winter because I knew I wanted sun-grown, outdoor, organic. I know that's what my brother grew. I knew which cultivar he grew. I knew that it was highest in these particular terpenes and these particular cannabinoids. And the universe was just yellow brick road for me, right? I mean, there was nothing else but this is your path. Do it today, right? And so I did. I went out and dodged some helicopters, picked some leaves, did all the things we got to do. But I survived, and I don't have any kind of things like that. Yeah, but she's been with me since I was born. Like literally, my parents engaged, and then I grew up with plants around me as a baby. So it's just basil to me, So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so very much. I love you all. I encourage you to use cannabis in raw form.
I also want to say I think Dr. P might be here a little bit longer, but if you want to catch her, you'll want to be at the Women Weed Wellness booth over there at number 3 and check out all the wonderful things we do. I could listen to her talk all day. No, keep going, keep going. I tried. I'm pretty good at that. There's something coming up next that brought us back here today that I already talked about, this magical relationship that began when I'm a teacher. That began when Chia and Patty asked me to join them on Moms Do Weed. But I want to talk a little more about how we did this today and how it was all made possible by the amazing support of our sponsors. So I would be remiss if I did not thank them from the stage and say Women Weed and Wellness is honored to be supported by Flower California Cannabis, a woman-owned flower cultivated here. Beautiful, amazing packaging. Go check them out at Women Weed and Wellness booth. Erin is over there and she can talk with you about the product. In addition to Dragonfly Wellness Center, 7 Stars Holistic Healing Center, Alchemy 29, Happy Fruit. Happy Fruit's back there in the back. Say hi, Nicole. Substance Premium Pre-Rolls, Marvin Garden 710 CBD, Milo Group, and Sunshine Gold. And Christina of Sunshine Gold is also over at the booth. Oh, she's right here. So I definitely want you all to say thank you with us because this was made possible by our generous support of our sponsors. So we're about to get ready for something special. And I think we got to get some mics and some other things ready, and we'll be right back.